don't you understand this?
Communication issue.
Don't you understand that if this was the truth, if this was the truth, then it would make sense to everyone.
Like, you do understand that the Bible says that very few people are going to heaven. In fact, the only people that are going to go to heaven, according to Jesus, based on what I've read, is that you have to be able to do the things that Jesus himself did. That you have to be able to raise the dead. You have to be able to heal the sick. You have to be able to drink the deadliest of poisons or be bitten by the most deadliest of snakes. It refers to moving mountains. And it also refers to a very minimal amount of people getting into heaven.
Can I ask a question? I'm on my phone, so I can't see the gentleman that's been speaking. All I see in his name is it says this on ... What's your name? I'll call you Guy for short then.
Guy Sensei.
So Guy, are all sins equal? I don't want to go all Darth Dawkins on you, but I'm going to ask you a couple questions here.
All right. Welcome to Morning Coffee. Knock is here. If you look up there in the right-hand corner. And he is in the chat as well. And I'm joined today by our guest host, Speed of Sound, of the YouTube channel Answers In Atheism. How you doing, Speed?
I'm doing okay. Is that Knock's spirit up there on the upper right? Or
yeah, he's hearing spirits, and that reminds me of something. I don't understand why. What? Oh, all right. It's well, I'm an idiot. Yeah, that was Speed talking to me in the private chat, which Speed always has a problem with too. So us old guys, sometimes we can't. We can't do all the stuff, But not only is Knock here in spirit today, he's in the live chat. His visage is up there in the corner, his logo. But there's somebody that did a little video here this morning that needs to be corrected. And I mentioned this on Monday. So Knock did come out and he said he was going to take a break for a while. And during that video, he did say that he had come to the decision he was going to kill the Raging Atheist, still have a channel, but kill the Raging Atheist. After he had posted that, many people reached out to Knock from the community, including several content creators in the community, and they talked him out of killing the Raging Atheist. They gave all the reasons why this community needed the Raging Atheist. So I announced that on Monday. So the Raging Atheist is not dead. Take heart. He's still out there. He'll be back. But yeah, this dipshit that did a video earlier, Shitstain, I like to call him. If anybody in the chat doesn't know who I'm talking about, somebody else in the chat will let you know, because I refuse to say his fucking name. But yeah, Shitstain was over on Icky Taint's channel, and they had advertised it was going to be a stream with Smokey, where he supposedly was going to bare his soul. The title, I think, was My Dark Secret or something like that. And then lots of people were speculating, well, hey, maybe he's going to finally come out with a mea culpa, or maybe he's finally coming out with the evidence that this person that's been discussed in the community is not him. Many Christians did videos and, showing the different pictures and what have you, and claiming that this person who had got into some legal trouble, never convicted of anything, was Smokey. And, we've been waiting for 3 weeks or a month. Well, you say it's not you, Smokey. Where's your evidence of that? So we thought, hey, it's either going to be a mea culpa or it's going to be finally showing the evidence. Turned out to be Will Kincaid on Smokey's channel.
You said his name. Damn.
Oh, God damn it.
Yeah.
If I say that those words again, trust me, it's not purposeful. And then if you would help me out here, and every time I say it that way, just think shit stain in your mind for me. All right. Yeah. And it was, the normal shit stain troll bullshit. The only problem with that is the situation that most people know about, where perhaps it was Smokey, perhaps not. At the bottom of that story, there's a child that was abused, whether it was Smokey that did it or we have a mistaken identity here and it was somebody else. So for Will to use this situation to do what he did is pretty fucking disgusting as far as I'm concerned. I mean, and you can comment on this if you want. You don't have to say anything. Just the bottom line is he's wrong. He was over there on the channel. He was like delighting in the fact that Knock had, decided to take a break and said he was going to kill the Raging Atheist. And once again, Will was wrong. We already informed you that the Raging Atheist is not dead and shall return.
I was hoping that Stinky Snake would be gone for at least 6 months, and so I was a little disappointed when I saw that. He had that little trailer last night. I thought, oh shit, that wasn't much of a break at all. But I'm hoping for 6 months or a year without Smokey. I don't know. Anyway.
Yep. And so I haven't done it yet, but I will do it. I'll get the link to Speed's channel in the video description. And we're going to review the last debate on Modern Day Debate with Sal Cordova, Canadian Catholic or Catholic Canadian. I can't remember which way it goes. Pogan on the atheist side, and I can't remember the other fellow's name. It'll be on the screen when we go to it. What is it?
Detroyer.
Yeah, Detroyer. I was wondering if they had spelled his name wrong, but apparently not. He never corrected him.
No.
The question is in this debate is, do Christians have justification for their belief in God? And if you go and look at the comment section, nobody was too impressed with the Christian side of that argument. And Speed here, he took the time. I only watched like the first maybe 5-10 minutes. Speed, I guess, watched a little bit more than that. But is that a fair assessment that people?
Yeah, he was just trying to. He's like a Darth Dawkins in training. That a Catholic, Canadian Catholic. He wasn't. I don't know. Like I'm 60 minutes in. He may come up with something, but he started coming up with logical arguments, and they suck just as bad as everything else he said. But anyway, you'll have to see it. You have to watch it.
So, just real quick, Brain Bugs in the house. How you doing, buddy? Athena, Goddess of Wisdom, Midnight's here. KCA Randy's here. Wally Ignorant. Scott Duke in the house. Dwayne Burke. Dwayne Burke's here. Okay. Bringing up, holding up that Christian side. The Rage said that because I slipped and said that name that shall not be mentioned, I have to put money in the jar. So yes, we're gonna set up a jar for that anytime. And then here's a new one on me, laughing at me, Seema Jasti. Hope I'm saying that name right. I think that might be Seema Jasti. Yeah, no, not ringing any bells. I thought maybe it was just like a funny, maybe dirty thing, but no. All right, and whoever that is says you said his name. LOL. Yes, I did. I think we will get a jar together, and I'll start putting $1 in it, and then we can let the chat after a few months and choose what charity we give that money to. Danny is here. Speed.
Oh my God.
I think he's hitting on us. He says you and me are cute together.
There goes the neighborhood.
Yeah. So I'm imagining that was a pants off post for Danny. Well, when he put that in the chat, he's right now pleasuring himself to two old men, I'm sure. Doctus, Osiris is here. God equals a square root of -1. One of my favorite fucking YouTube names ever. Welcome, everybody. And what I'm going to do right now, while I bring that video up that we're going to review, I'm going to mute and go to a different screen and get that set up. And Speed is going to take a few moments here and tell you about his channel. Yeah, you are.
Oh, I have a channel? Oh, that. Answers in Atheism without spaces is the new branding name for it. And we do a weather report every day from 2 to 4. And it's kind of a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I like to throw in some science facts. And we do reviews of scientific papers. And we push back against creationism, young earth creationism, which really pisses me off, really gets me rolling. And what else do we do? A little philosophy and hopefully philosophy of the mind in the future and a bunch of other stuff. So anyway, subscribe because I'm going to die soon and you're going to feel bad if you don't. That's my market.
He's trying to, he just turned 70 and he wants to get some money together, so that he doesn't have to be buried in Pauper's Field and all that shit. But just so you know what we're going to do here. Now, as you've probably noticed many times on this channel, when we review something, it takes a while because, usually we're reviewing something done by Christians and there's just a whole lot of stupid to talk about. And we end up having to pause the video so often. That's a Speed's channel too. You end up sometimes pausing it every 30 seconds because you got to address some other dumb thing that was said. And so this will take several days. The debate was 2 hours long. And, as I said earlier this week, I'm not going to be here every day. Mock's taking a break, but I will be here 2 or 3 times a week. And what we're going to do with reviewing this debate is we're going to split it up between both channels. Here we go. So yeah, today we'll get through as much of it as we can. Later today at 3 p.m. That's safe. Stop that, bad boy. So we will review what we can today here on this channel. Then at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 Central, which Speed claims is the center of the universe and the only true time zone. We will continue over on his channel, and there'll be more people there to give their opinion on the debate, and then we'll pick up again on Monday here on this channel. We'll do another section, and then do the 4th section on Speed's show, and I don't know when it'll be again. Sometime another time next week, 1 or 2 more times next week after Monday, I'll do the morning coffee show and we'll do that again. So we'll just bat it back and forth there until we get through the whole thing. And since I'm only going to go 2 or 3 times a week, still leave Speed, plenty of episodes to do his normal thing. Which, he just pointed out is kind of a grab bag of different things. Come over to Speed's channel and, you might hear some philosophy. You might hear some, science. Well, you definitely will hear some science. You might hear a little dumpster fire stuff here and there. And
yeah, the highlight is Danny saying, sorry, and me putting him in the back room. So.
Yeah. Sorry. Like, he must have really loved that game as a kid or something.
That's our philosophy section is Danny saying sorry and me putting him in the back room. So,
all right. So this is going to be a little clunky at first.
722, John, I think would be a good place. I think that's where Canadian Catholic gets going, I think.
Well, what, 722, is that after the intro music and all that shit?
Yeah, I think it's after all their intros, and I don't think we would have missed anything by going to 722.
Okay.
Yeah, check.
Real quick, I have to get through an ad that's at the front end of it. So.
Yep. Oh, by the way, I have $500 here for John Maddox in case he needs a loan, because on Sunday he's gonna basically do his code challenge with Dr. Dan. So anyway, I just wanted to put that out there for John. Hashtag John is what is it? John is a grifter. Oh, you're muted, John. Oh shit, I said John. I meant Maddox. You're muted, John. I don't know what's happening.
Is that I'm a boomer, and I'm, as you know, everybody gets to see at the beginning of any show I'm doing myself, I am having my boomer moments here because I don't have all the tools and tricks that Knock has, and I don't have the ability that Knock has to produce. So,
what do you do if you rip your 100? Like, I don't know.
Anyway. Ripped it in half.
Well, yeah, it's ripped up. I don't know.
You know, it's not that big a deal. I mean, I remember an old movie when I was a kid with Sidney Poitier, where he goes into the inner city and he's teaching this class of underprivileged kids, and he tells them, "Yeah, if you do this certain thing with me for a few days, I will give you each $100. I'll give you half now, and I'll give you half when the project's over." And he's got a stack of $100 bills in his hand, and he's at the front of the classroom, and he takes that stack of $100 bills and he rips it right down the middle, and gives each of them a half of a $100 bill. And of course, you have to have more than half of any denomination money for it to be worth what it actually is. I think you have to have 3/4 or more of it for it to be valid. So, all right, here it is. Not sure where it says 17. We're going to back it up a little bit from there, but let's get rolling on this. Let me know, Speed, if you want to stop it.
What's the safe word on your channel?
I mean, just I don't know. Like, I guess for today, just for continuity's sake, we'll say shit stain when we want to stop it.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Okay, maybe not. Here we go.
Just forget the sound.
I mean, I can't even get the thing to start.
Ooh. Oh,
can you guys hear
there
me?
we go.
Praise is having a lot of trouble at the beginning of this with roboting and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
He had to reset it a couple times. That's why I don't think they got going until 7:22.
Hey everyone, this is Praise I am standing in for James, and we're debating are theists just.
Yeah, I don't want to hear any of that.
Try there.
All right, we're buff.
Choppy.
Okay, here we
A
go.
little bit, but it seems still choppy to me.
Yep, they're still having problems.
Okay.
We'll fast forward a little bit more here.
YouTube is having issues this morning too with a lot of
discussion. But before we do that, I'd like for our speakers to give a brief introduction about themselves for their channel. So we'll start with the affirmative here, and Sal and Canadian, if you give introduction, that'll be great.
I'll go ahead. Thank you so much, Praise. Thank you for moderating things. This is my second time being here. Thank you also to Pogan and Detroyer, two people I'm very well acquainted with. So I am, as my name suggests, an inhabitant of Canada. And
What the hell?
you guys can check out my YouTube channel down below. You guys can join our Discord, where all four of us actually hang out. And basically, this debate came.
So, is what was going on the screen there just more of the problems that Praise was having?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I was hoping it wasn't. Oh, sorry.
I was giving. I was trying to expose the dishonesty of a atheist activist and grade A moron, Matt Delabloviator, when Pogan...
It's so funny because the only way that sentence should have ended should have been, I'm trying to expose, the dishonesty of myself.
Yeah.
Because he's one of the most dishonest motherfuckers around.
Pogan decided to defend a person, and I challenged him to a debate rather than go back and forth, doing video debates that seem to take a lot of time. So Pogan, to his credit, agreed to do this, and I was thrilled. And then we decided, why not have partners? Since that seems to be much more easier for us, and that's how we're here. So I'm looking forward to the debate, and I'll let Sal introduce himself.
I'm Salvador Cordova. James asked me, invited me to be Canadian Catholic's partner. I'm a molecular biophysics research assistant. Prior to that, I was a engineer and scientist in the aerospace and defense industry. I presently work in support of medical research through the study of proteins and molecular biophysics, but also use my professional work to support arguments for intelligent design and creation science. I have a YouTube channel.
All right, that's why we listen to the introductions, for that one phrase right there that I wanted to get Speed's thoughts on. So, creation science.
Yeah.
Is there such an animal, Speed?
Nope. Only in Sal's mind and the mind of that little the brain trust that gathered around SFT. No such thing. Though they're trying to make it a thing. So it's a new brand.
Oh, okay. I got to do something here. Yeah, I had that screen set that way because of the starting soon screen. Rage just informed me in chat that as far as for which I don't think James would have a problem with it, but that when you're doing fair use and you want to transform it, you need to have yourself on the screen as well. Gives you a better more warrant for having it up there. But if you have a full screen, then so anyway, I think I interrupted you. What were you saying now?
The thing about creation science that it's kind of a brand, and every day I get emails begging for money to support creation science. So from Ken Ham and David Rives Ministries and Answers in Genesis and all that bullshit. So that's what it is. It's a money-making division of a fundamentalist religious organization. That's all it is. It had nothing to do with science.
I mean, they try and raise. I wasn't aware of that. They try and raise money off of it. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah. I think their minimum donation is like I don't know, $10 or $25 or something like that, and then you can go up to like 5,000 on some of the things I've seen. Oh yeah, if you donate 5,000 to their creation science, you'll get a special place in heaven, right alongside Cell and SFT.
I mean, I wouldn't give the two dudes on the screen 5,000 green stamps, let alone $5,000. Yeah, and this is one of the reasons why it's great that Speed is here. He is one of the premier Sal Cordova debunkers, and to me, it's a little scary. Like I talk to Speed a lot. I talk to Immutable Destiny a lot, Leo a lot, and it's kind of scary to me that this guy is a scientist, but he believes the things he believes.
Yeah, well, he's an engineer anyway. I don't know about a scientist.
All right, here we go.
Evidence and Reasons. And also there is a website by that same name that's still under construction. I'm having an after show. I'd like to thank Praise. I'd like to thank Canadian Catholic.
Yeah, we can jump through this bullshit.
I think 1021 is where Canadian Catholic
was running, which clearly enticed him to challenge me to a debate, and I grabbed up Detroyer to help me out. Just as a quick note, I am 6'3". Canadian is 5'8". Go ahead.
I might correct that. I'm not 5'8". I'm actually 5'9", and Pogan intentionally, while knowing that I'm 5'9", tries to mispronounce it. And by the way, his 6'3" is a debatable claim. Sorry, go ahead.
So let's get going here. So we're gonna have 2 5-minute periods for each person interlocutor. So we'll have Canadian Sal go first, then we'll have Destroyer or Pogan go next, and then we'll just go in open discussion. So when you guys want to get going, the floor is yours.
Well,
If you thought Amazon was cheap, try Capital One shopping and then
Oh no.
While you browse Amazon, Capital One Shopping looks for coupons and promo.
There you go.
Okay. I will start with a brief introduction, just setting the tone. I got the agreement from both of our current opponents that it would be okay for our side to go first, since it's taken that we're making the positive person. So basically, the theme of this debate was my idea, and the idea was to have something concrete debated. Okay, rather than having debates does not exist or are miracles good, something like that. I wanted something concrete, something like, are theists people who claim to believe in God? And I think, for the sake of the conversation, we could even include theists in the conversation. Justified, rationally justified, believe in God. So our case is much more modest than what you would expect in other so-called God debates. You simply have to make a case that there is a reasonable...
yeah, because when I think Canadian Catholic, that's the first word that comes to mind is modest.
Yeah.
But it's well, we're just going to watch here.
Case to be made for our belief in God, and that case does not need to be contrasted. We ought not to. We are not supposed to give reasons for why atheism, for example, is unreasonable. Are we supposed to show that theism is more reasonable than atheism? Our case is solely concerned with giving reasons for showing that theism is reasonable. Okay? So this is basically what the tone will be. We're making this claim. And I ask all of the audience to view this debate in the context in which we've outlined. So, I mean, if you are angry that your mother took away your phone during church service, and now you're angry at the priest, this is not the right place to take out your anger, right? Because we're having a rational discussion about whether theists are rationally justified. Thank you so much, and I will defer to Sal to make his case.
And real quick, and Speed knows what's coming, and probably a lot of people in the chat who maybe paid attention to this last night might know what's coming. You know, he talks about, you know, anger and, you know, not, he basically is saying, you know, let's not, you know, get off the rails here and you know, get away from the topic and, you know, get personal and all that. And from what I've heard, that's he's going to do an awful lot of that himself, isn't he, Speed?
Yeah. Yes.
For me, please go ahead, Sal.
He actually said not get personal.
If I could share my screen, praise.
I think that was
Absolutely.
my paraphrasing him. He brought up the example. There's
the general argument is whether it's
he brought up the example that, like, you know, so if you're got your phone taken, hey, kids, if you got your phone taken away in church and you're mad at the priest, you know, that's what this isn't about. You know, he said something about being reasonable and or not being personal or something, but I heard he was a fuckwit throughout this whole thing. So
yep.
There's reasonable to believe in God. I will make some mention of the Christian God. Blaise Pascal said, "I should not be a Christian, but for the miracles," and that's his characterization of St. Augustine, and even his own beliefs. The foundation of religion, it is the miracles. Now, Pascal experienced personal miracles in the life of his family. His niece, portrait of her there, was healed in the name of Jesus of blindness. Now, whether that was a coincidence or not, this has bearing on the question of, is it reasonable to be a theist? In the modern day, we have Charles Duke, the youngest man to ever walk the moon. When he returned from the moon, he was not a Christian at the time. He became a Christian because he was having problems with alcoholism and all sorts of personal issues. He became a Christian. That started to clean up in his life. He started organizing prayer meetings. There was a young girl there who was blind, and he prayed over her, and she received her sight. So the question is, what I'm pointing this out is, we can't categorically say that it's unreasonable. There's certainly people in the world, certainly reputable people like Charles Duke, where...
Yeah. Hang on there, John. Sell, that's all he does is he puts out a bunch of authority quotes. So it really isn't very interesting. It's just the usual Sell stuff. I don't know if you want to go through it or not. But if you were to actually, the Sell turns it over at 1824. And all he does is talk about his, like, okay, this guy, this astronaut that he keeps talking about, who cured a blind person by praying.
Right. And it is interesting because it's, you know, okay, something happened. We're saying it's a miracle, therefore God. Like, okay, there's only like maybe 1,000 other explanations for what happened. I mean, and there are times when people, you know, like there's people that have cancer and they might get the chemo, they get the surgery, and it gets a reduction, but it's never fully goes into remission, and then all of a sudden one day it's gone. You know, and it's because of something that happened with that person's body, you know. But they say, well, that's a miracle. God did it. We are going to listen to his, because this is the opening. We're going to, here's the whole opening here. And, you know, and when we get into it, if there's like other like dead spots that you think we should jump through, we can do that for sure.
I just want to mention this Charles Duke thing. I've tried Googling this story about curing the blind girl, and I haven't found, I think I found one reference to it, and it's a reference to his book. And you would think that if a person who was blind through some physical thing that all the doctors thought there's no way that this person would ever see again, that if that person was cured by prayer, these doctors would have come out and started talking about it, and it would have been on all the news stations.
Well, but and not even if you can leave the prayer out of it. If some blind person was spontaneously cured of their blindness, it would be a story that would be out there in the zeitgeist, you know, like and you're saying you're Googling it and you find one thing about his book. Like that doesn't give me very much confidence in this claim.
Right. But this is Sell's biggie. This is his biggie. So anyway.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We would have no call to say it's unreasonable for him to follow some sort of faith belief in God. And so I'm not going to even argue that it's that it has to be reasonable for everyone. One of the most prominent scientists, a Nobel Prize winner, Richard Smalley, he was diagnosed with cancer. He began to reevaluate things in his life. He used his scientific knowledge to determine whether abiogenesis and evolutionary theory were correct. He's qualified to make that sort of ruling, and he realized it was false. It led him to believe that there is an intelligent designer, and he became a Christian. So whether he's ultimately right or wrong is not the point of this discussion. The issue is whether his belief is rational. I played in casinos where the outcomes of some of my betting decisions weren't favorable, but mathematically, in the mathematical sense, they were sound and rational given the uncertainties of the casino environment. I eventually got kicked out for playing skilled blackjack because I was able to estimate the odds because of things like conditional probability. And so the issue of making rational decisions, even if the outcome isn't exactly what you were hoping, it's not an issue of whether we're looking for absolute proof. It's an issue of whether the decision-making, based on what little we know and our little sample size of reality, is rational. I'll point to some books that scientifically argue for an intelligent designer. This is written by two Ivy League scientists. One of them was actually picked out, Change Lord Tan, by Nobel Prize winner George Smith. So if people want to study this, by the way, these are some people from my alma mater who are scientists who believe in an intelligent designer. There are also a professor at my alma mater argued that straightforward
It is pretty ridiculous. I mean, and that's actually sound now at 1.75 speed, and he still sounds slow to me. Yeah. I mean, he's basically what Speed said. He's just like he just put a screenshot of it. These are people that went to my alma mater, and they agree with my nonsense. Therefore, I'm right.
Yeah, I like beating a dead horse, but this Charles Duke thing, I Googled it again, and the top link is a post in a blog by somebody called Creation Evolution, who I think is Cell, quoting a little piece from his book. Apparently, this girl was legally blind, but she was not blind. She was just losing her sight. And the doctor said she wouldn't have sight in a month. And they prayed over her, and her sight's been perfect ever since. And that's just a little blurb in the book. Hardly the miracle that I'm looking for. That would convert me, right? So anyway,
yeah. So it sounds like there was an inaccurate prognosis. Therefore,
that sounds like it. Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Word interpretations of physics point to a God, and that's the reference there. And that was in the prestigious scientific journal Nature. There are other books. The physicists argue just straightforward from physical law that God exists. And I'll just finish my opening by saying, this is actually from an atheist agnostic, Fred Hoyle. He said, a common sense interpretation of the facts suggests that a super intellect has monkeyed with physics as well as chemistry and biology, and that there are no blind forces worth speaking about in nature. To me, this is suggesting that there is a supernatural designer. And thank you, that opening.
Thank you for your opening.
Wait a minute. Is that the guy that wrote the card book?
What's that? Oh,
Hoyle?
No, he's the guy that came up with the Big Bang, I believe. Fred Hoyle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I want to check the context of that quote, but anyway.
All right, and if we needed proof that not just boomers can't produce videos, here's Praise's set up right now.
For the theist side, you guys were let's see here. You got about 4 minutes to spare. We could add that to the question and answering, or if you guys want to have a concluding remark, we can add it there. So now we have the atheist side, or the negative, the negation side. So if you guys want to go ahead, I'll start the timer. The floor is yours.
Did you want to go first, or do you mind?
Go ahead, Detroyer. I'll follow you.
All right. So I want to make a brief comment on the framing. And in doing so, I'm going to disagree and respond to what Canadian Catholics said about that. So again, today's debate proposition is theism is rationally justified. And well, what does it mean for theism to be rationally justified? One thing we might mean, and I think a plausible account of what we might mean, is something like there is some demonstrable evidence arguments given which an informed theist can be epistemically justified in their belief. Now, what will count as such a demonstration or evidence will, of course, be in contention. I don't expect that much agreement will be reached here tonight. However, I'm content to leave the framing at that and let each side make their respective cases and have the audience judge which side has made the more compelling case. And so, well, one approach
And just real quick on that, and then I want Speed to correct me if I'm wrong, or to give his understanding of it. But so is belief in God justified? And so what they're trying to do here is to justify a belief, not prove that God exists, just that they're justified in believing a God does exist.
Right.
Yeah, and so it's not like a debate where you're trying to prove God's existence. It's just, are we justified in having this belief?
Yep.
All right.
On the Fred Hoyle quote, there's a thing, apparently William Lane Craig uses that a lot, and it was taken out of context from his book, and it was from 1975. So it has been called intellectually dishonest to use that quote. So
I'm going to call bullshit on that. Like I find it so hard to believe that any Christian would quote mine something.
Or be intellectually dishonest.
Right. Yeah. I just find that so hard to believe. I mean, I'm sorry, dude.
I appreciate your skepticism.
Could take to this debate as merely a skeptical one, i.e., I could try to just refute whichever arguments or demonstration the opponents offer. I think something a little bit stronger can be said, and perhaps will be said throughout the course of the discussion, one thing I'll say at the outset is, look, if theism is rationally justified, then probably our opponents would be able to provide such demonstration and evidence in favor of theism. And we have that expectation because they're relatively informed theists and they've tasked themselves with doing precisely that. However, it's going to be my contention, and I take it that this would be borne out throughout the discussion, that they will not be able to provide some demonstrable evidence and arguments in favor of theism, and hence by sort of modus tollens argument, it would follow that theism is not rationally justified. And yield the remainder of my time.
Yeah, I'll just follow up on what Detroyer said there. He pretty much hit the nail on the head. I think there's a reasonable expectation that the proposition is going to imply that an argument or a persuasive case is going to be given that makes the assertion of God's existence rational, right? It makes your belief rational. I think that's what the proposition is really cashing out. So I think that expectation that Detroyer just expressed is perfectly reasonable. I wanted to quickly comment on a couple things that Sal said in his introduction there. It seemed like what he was essentially saying was, we have a set of miraculous events and a set of people that believe in the existence of God, many of whom are in fairly high-tier professions. And for that reason, it seems like that would lead to the implication that the belief in God is something that's reasonable. I just wanted to make some quick comments, and then I'll yield the remainder of my time over to our opponents. First of all, people believing in something does not in and of itself entail that the belief is rational. Depending on whether he's appealing to the number or appealing to the people particularly, that would either be an ad populum or an appeal to authority, straightforwardly. The case here is that it needs to be made abundantly clear that it is rational to hold the belief that a God exists, and I don't think that will be sufficient to demonstrate the case. Further, it's unclear what he even means when he says miracle. I think that'll need to be cashed out here. If by miracle he means an event in which the only explanation could possibly be the supernatural, then I think there needs to be an argument for that, for those things not being explained by naturalistic accounts or non-supernatural accounts, right? Clearly that's going to be a major point of contention here.
You see Sal? He's almost vibrating.
Yep.
Like listening to Pogan, debunk his argument, and everything that Pogan is saying right now is just spot on about what Sal did. I mean, me and Speed shouldn't have even commented on it a few minutes ago. We should just waited for Pogan because he's laying it out there perfectly.
Yep.
Come on, man, you got to give me more than a yep.
Yep. Oh, more than a yep. Okay. I got nothing.
All right, that's fine. I'm just, you did tell me you were going to maybe be tired.
Yeah.
It's all I can think of when both of these guys talked is that poor CC and Sal. I think they picked the two wrong guys to go up against. Like he said, that's not compelling. Just because a bunch of other people agree with you, that's not a rationale for a belief.
Okay, I found more for you, John.
Sure.
This whole thing, though, if you believe something in advance, like say for instance, you believe this pandemic was nothing but a made up bullshit, and it was some kind of flu, and they were hyping it to get back at the former president, I can't remember his name, to get him to lose the election. What you would do is you'd go out and start Googling, and you'd find all sorts of biased little one-off quotes and ideas, right? And that's all Sal has. And that's what he does in science, too. When he reads science, he looks for these little factoids, the same as what they do in geology. They'll go look at the Grand Canyon, and they'll focus on one little column, and they'll find a little factoid that they can represent. And when you end up with enough factoids, you end up bolstering your belief in whatever bullshit proposition you believed to begin with prior to the investigation. And that's what creationists do. They believe prior to investigation, and then they go and find these little one-off points, these little little bits of starlight, right, that they can add, they can tack on their little board, and they end up believing the whole ball of wax. And I don't know what the word for that is, but
yeah, I mean, cognitive dissonance, intellectual dishonesty. There's a whole slew of wrong behavior. And what they often do too is they'll find a little snippet in which they, believe buoys their argument. And then oftentimes when you go check it out yourself, you find out that soon after the comment that they mined, it was refuted in the same piece. Like they bring something up only in the piece to only afterwards tear it down as a legitimate idea, but they leave that part out when I think the technical name for it is not using your thinker tool. I mean, famously, a lot of creationists, they quote mine Darwin on the I, and they take the beginning of the quote where he is just setting up his comment of his commentary later in the quote, and they take that front end and try and claim that Darwin was, admitting that the I could not have been made without a God. Right. When in fact, when you read the whole quote, that's not what it's about at all. And when Pogan here says, hey, you need a little bit more of an argument than just to say it's a miracle. And he's right. What that argument would be, I can't imagine. But the counter argument for me is that, premise one, everything that has ever been explained by science has turned out to be a natural cause. Premise two, there's no reason to think that any phenomenon doesn't have a natural cause. Conclusion, future discoveries will turn out to be having natural causation. He needs something like that to bolster his claim that these unknown things that have these things that we can't explain, these miracles that they call them, he has to have a better argument than just, hey, that's a miracle.
Yeah, and I don't even need the conclusion. It's like, show me. If something happens in my local environment here that looks like a miracle to me, I have an open mind. I'm going to look at it. And the same with evolution. When I started studying evolution, I didn't have a prior, I'm an atheist, so I didn't have much choice, but I didn't really have a prior belief in evolution, but I investigated it. It's like, because some of that stuff, it's like, bullshit, how could this possibly happen? So what I did is I got textbooks out, and I'm digging, and I'm still digging, and I'm going to keep digging, because I think if you have a belief prior, you only dig down to the first level to confirm your belief, and you don't go any further. But if you're skeptical, if you're truly skeptical, you will keep learning all of your life, looking for opposition. Like when he talks about, healing the blind girl, I Google that shit, because if that happened, I want to know, and I want to change my views. Right?
Well, right. And you think about other like phenomenon, other like claims. There's some pretty famous people, a couple of them, they're only famous because of what happened to them, not that they were famous beforehand, but that have a couple of them were found out to be bullshitting afterwards, but like people that have claimed that they've had near-death experiences. And like there's the one famously, the kid who went to heaven and came back or something like that. But when something like that is claimed and out there in the zeitgeist, if you Googled that, you'd find 10,000 links, because everybody's talking about it. And now here's this thing that Sal's claiming is a miracle, and Speed can't find but one or two mentions of it on the entirety of Google.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's more. If I went further pages, you'd find somebody talking about it, mostly Sal talking about it. But the kid that went to heaven and came back and wrote a book and made a movie, and you mean that kid?
Yeah. Yeah. And then he ended up being proven to have been lying.
Yeah.
I don't see a reason prima facie to accept that certain events can only be explained by the supernatural. So I would need to hear a case for that specifically. But with that, I'll yield the remainder of time over to our opponents. I look forward to.
I just have to stop real quick and say, you're making me blush, Maynard.
What's he saying?
Very interesting debate. Thank you.
I think here's where it gets good. Where Canadian
for your opening arguments, and you guys had about
where Canadian Catholic comes in. I think that's where it gets good.
Saving money by customizing.
Hey, Liberty Mutual.
Liberty Mutual.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to let these guys have their free ads.
Did we get paid for that?
No, well, they just get a little free ad.
Your concluding remarks, if you want.
They just get free advertising because we're reviewing the video, and Knock is demonetized anyway, so it wouldn't make them any money anyway. So.
Now we're going to go into the open discussion, and whoever wants to start her off, I think Canadian Catholic would be the best candidate. Let him start her off, and we'll just let her go.
Okay, sure. So before I start, I just confirmed that my microphone is working. I've been getting complaints.
You're a little muffled.
It's muffled.
No, is this better? Is the microphone better?
Yes.
Yeah, I think Canadian Catholic needs to take the sock full of crucifixes out of his mouth.
Needs to buy a mic.
It's a little bit better.
Okay. Am I audible?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, I'm audible right now, right?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Be careful what you wish for.
Is it? I think I'm just going to say that's a fair expectation that we provide the case. Obviously, I just want to make sure what the case was, but it's fair for people to say that I need to provide the case. So.
Oh, what happened there?
I have no idea. I didn't do it.
What did you do, Speed?
I did not do it this time.
All right, let's see here. Fucking YouTube. All right, come on. Open up like a flower, bitch. All right.
Is it okay if I start with you, Pogan? If I start my questioning with you, Pogan?
Well, you need to present an argument. It's not just questioning, right? I'm not exactly clear why you would begin with questioning as opposed to just giving an argument.
Also, the questions are to the team.
Yeah, I mean, if Detroyer, if you insist on asking questions, like Detroyer absolutely can answer.
Yeah, but I have a question for you. Is that okay?
Yeah. If you want to ask a question, that's fine.
No, I don't want to ask a question. I want to ask you a question. Is that fine?
Sure.
Okay. This is just going to be for the first 5 minutes, and then I'm going to let Sal respond to your. And so this is specifically me addressing Pogan, not the team. You.
We're an open discussion here, right?
Yeah, we are. But
you're starting off the discussion.
Yes, but yeah, of course, I'm starting off. I'm going to go on to Detroit as well. But
look, as long as you don't have the expectation that Detroyer is not going to answer if he wants to answer, that's fine.
Of course not. But I prefer to ask you a question right now. So, Pogan, you're not I'm just going to take it for the sake of this questioning. I obviously don't expect both of you to be on the same page, so this is why I'm going to be asking you specifically. I'm just assuming that for the sake of this discussion, you're not a doxastic voluntarist.
I'm not even clear on what that means, Canadian. You'd have to explain the concept to me.
Oh, that's fine. Doxastic voluntarism is the view that one chooses there, but something that was theistic.
So let's just stop it right there and talk about this for a minute. Man, maybe people couldn't hear what he was saying because he was breaking up a little bit there. But he's talking about doxastic volunteerism, which is the idea that you have some control over what you believe, that you can choose in some way choose your beliefs, or partially, have some kind of decision-making process in what you believe. And what do you think of that concept? Right?
Yeah, he's kind of making the claim that lies beneath what he's saying is that you have free will to choose your beliefs, rather than your beliefs are determined from some naturalistic cause. And he elaborates. And there's a point here where I wanted to jump through the screen and get my hands around his throat, but we'll get to it.
Yeah, and I mean the thing of it is that I tend to believe that we really don't have control over our beliefs. And that's not to say that your beliefs don't come from your mind and from your thinking and everything, but you take in information and you come to a belief. But you don't, much like with, Pascal's wager, which essentially boils down to you should choose to believe in God, because, if you're wrong and there is a God, the upside is so much better. You get to go to heaven and live forever, and that's, to me, is essentially boils down to Pascal's wager is choose your beliefs carefully, but it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so let's hear more of his nonsense.
Well, some theists hold to. I just take it that's not something you hold to.
Do you mind if I respond with a question? Because I want some clarity on something.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly clear on why my response to that question is even relevant when you agree.
Well, you're not,
please let me finish speaking. Please let me finish speaking. You made it clear a couple minutes ago that you accepted the burden for you in this debate was to present an argument of making it the case that it's rational to hold the belief in God, right? So that's the expectation.
So, audience, if you haven't seen any Darth Dawkins videos lately, you're going to get a real taste of some Darth Dawkins-esque behavior here over the next several minutes.
Yeah, but I didn't agree in the syllogistic form, right?
I'm not asking for a syllogism. I'm asking for an argument, right? It doesn't have to be in prop logic form. It can be in natural language, but you're asking questions.
But can I go somewhere with the question? The clarifying question? Can I ask you a question? Why is it so bad to ask a question? So you're not a doxastic fallen trier, correct?
Well, given that I just understood the concept 15 seconds ago, I'd probably say no.
Okay, no, that's a reasonable expectation. I just to get it out there. And it's also, for the sake of this questioning, assumes that you are a mind physicalist. You hold to the idea that our mind is purely material.
No, I'm not a physicalist.
Yeah, just real quick, I switched up my normal avatar for the Rage channel and brought up the one that I usually use over on Speed's channel, because the same shtick that's usually happens on Speed's channel is happening here today too. Danny's in the chat pointing out what an idiot I am.
Yeah. What's happening here is he's interrogating, okay, and he's doing the Darth Dawkins thing, and this Pogan is not going along with his script.
Right.
So then he starts to get abusive, and you'll see that unfold over the next few minutes, because it turns out, well, he's not a physicalist, and he's not he's not going to claim that the mind is physical, and so he has nowhere to go. So he starts to get a little abusive. But
so, and I want to share this because there's something very wrong with it. And Danny is such a brilliant philosopher. I can't believe he made this mistake, but he posts this non sequitur. John Peterson has too simplistic an understanding of Pascal's wager. Now, I will admit I did give a very brief and simplistic view of Pascal's wager, but how does that entail that I don't know anything more about the topic? Just because I gave a thumbnail sketch of what it is. Danny, I don't know. Non sequitur, buddy.
Yeah, Pascal's wager is much deeper than that, but
yeah, not much, but just because someone makes a thumbnail of a certain thing, did I promise I was going to give out every thought I had on Pascal's wager, every part of Pascal's wager? No. And this is what Danny does. He's quite adept at it.
Yep.
All right.
I'm not asking you whether you're physical.
I'm not a mind physicalist. I don't think the mind is purely physical.
Okay, that's fine. But do you believe that the mind's operations can all be understood in terms of at least scientifically can be understood in terms of evolution? Do you accept that?
I'm really not. I'm not clear on why you're pursuing these questions. I'm not clear on why you're pursuing these questions when again.
Okay.
Look, let me make something. Let me make something clear.
No, you're not going to be derailing the conversation.
I can.
Okay.
Decline. I can decline. Listen to me for a second. I can decline to answer. Listen to me for a second, please. Right.
Did Canadian Catholic just say, I'm not going to allow you to derail the conversation?
Right, which is just beautiful. But yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. Okay, because as Pogan has pointed out, he's supposed to be, it's a back and forth, but before they can go back and forth, he has to give his argument as to why he is justified to believe in God.
Right.
And then get a response from them. Or even at the end, after giving his justification, he can ask a question related to it and they can answer. But here he is trying to run an entirely unrelated script. You know, I mean, how fucking intellectually dishonest is that? He agrees to have a debate on a specific topic, and he hasn't even addressed it yet.
And Pogan ran off the rails of his script by saying, I am not a physicalist. So he hadn't counted on that. And so now he's going to try another avenue, but go ahead.
So, yeah. And so Darth Dawkins asked, I mean, even notice like Pogan was trying to continue on and Canadian Catholic was babbling over top of him, much like Darth Dawkins would do. Fortunately, Canadian Catholic doesn't have control of a mute button in this interchange.
I can decline to answer the questions on the basis that, again, I'm just going to remind you of this. You agreed it was reasonable to expect you to present an argument, not necessarily in prop logic, but definitely some sort of argument demonstrating that it's rational to hold the belief. Right? My views are not relevant to that in any capacity.
I'm getting to presenting a case.
I think you're just being evasive.
I'm not being evasive. I just need 5 minutes of questions to demonstrate, to make a point. Is that against the rules?
Nobody said anything about rules. I'm waiting for
and I'm asking, okay, well, again, I'm making a case, right? You're not going to get out of this just because you realize you're already losing and you're just trying to weasel out. It's not going to help you, right? Everybody can see that you're just cowering. You had a lot to say on the video, and for some reason you're evading the questions. Why? So the question is...
Because you agreed that it was reasonable to expect you to provide an argument.
Evading. What happened here? Our sound disappeared. John? Oh, John, you can't mute.
I'm asking you why it's relevant to the argument.
I'm sorry.
I want everybody to notice how Pogan's evading direct questioning. Again, this is because he knows he's going to lose.
Demonstrating that it's rational to hold the belief. Right? My views are not relevant to that in any capacity.
I'm getting to presenting a case.
I think you're just being evasive.
I'm not being evasive. I just need 5 minutes of questions to demonstrate, to make a point. Is that against the rules?
Nobody said anything about rules. I'm waiting for...
And I'm asking, okay, well, again, I'm making a case, right? You're not going to get out of this just because you realize you're already losing and you're just trying to weasel out. It's not going to help you, right? Everybody can see that you're just cowering. You had a lot to say on the video, and for some reason you're evading the questions. Why? So the question is...
Because you agreed that it was reasonable to expect you to provide an argument.
I will provide an argument in a second. But first I want to ask...
Tell me this then. Do you think it bears any significance to your argument what my views are?
Yes, it does.
Okay, why is that the case?
Because you're evading the question.
Evading the question isn't an answer to that. I'm asking you why it's relevant to the argument to clarify what my position is.
I want everybody to notice how Pogan's evading direct questioning. Again, this is because he knows he's going to lose. So why don't you show me, Pogan, that my alternative hypothesis that you're afraid is false by allowing me to question you for the first 5 minutes, and then you can question me.
Yeah, that's just well poisoning, right? I'll remind you of a couple things, right? When you started this line of questioning, I responded immediately by saying, you can ask me these questions, but just so we're clear, the expectation here is that either you or Sal has some sort of case demonstrating that it's reasonable. I'm not the...
I'm wondering now, is Darth Dawkins the biggest asshole on the internet? I mean, I'm not sure.
Yeah, this guy is like an amateur Darth Dawkins, so he's learning. He's in training. So
and then Danny, we'll see you over on Speech Channel later. Go fuck off for now. I'm going to admit I booted you out of personal animosity. I just don't want to hear your shit today. Like the last thing when we were talking about Pascal's wager, and then he posts, John Peterson, I'm saying that you shouldn't talk about things you don't know much about. Okay. Well, first of all, you didn't prove that I don't know much about it. Okay. Based on your fucking non sequitur oxymoronic, or not oxymoronic, moronic claim based on 3 or 4 sentences from me on a topic. But at any rate, yeah, goodbye, Danny. Go.
Yeah, Danny wanted to run down a rabbit hole with that Pascal's wager.
I understand Rage. He wasn't breaking any rules, but I'm allowed a free one now and then. And Danny's a fuckhead.
Yeah, he's a weenie.
All right.
Not done speaking, right? This is demonstrating that it's reasonable to believe in God, which I'm waiting for. I'm still not finished speaking, right? If you're not interested in doing that, we can defer to Sal and have him present the case. But my positions do not bear any significance to you presenting an argument for God.
I'm more than prepared to do that.
Okay, then present the argument.
No, that we're not going to be deferring. I have the right to question you. Why is that so hard to question you? I'm not evading.
Because this isn't an argument.
I'm going to be presenting an argument. Nobody says that it's only arguments that should be presented. I want to ask questions, and then I'm going to move to a propositional argument. I have 2 preparations set up. There's nothing against the rules between me asking you questions.
You're not in violation of the rules. I'm just interested in the argument.
Okay, I will give an argument. Now, can I first...
Can you give the argument now?
No, I want to start with my question first.
Can you tell me what the significance of... Look, at this point, you're just wasting time, right? Can you tell me what the significance of the questioning is? Because I'm interested in the argument, and I think Detroyer is as well.
I understand that, but if you're going to be debating, this is going to be a very short debate. Okay, this is an open discussion where I have the right to question you about things. Okay, moderator, you have to step in. Am I in violation of any rule by asking Pogan questions?
No, but I would like to have less over talking. I'd also like to get Sal and Detroyer in this conversation as well. If we can try to put them into the conversation.
But this is just him chickening out. He knows he's going to lose in an open discussion.
No.
You're free to look.
Hang
You're
on a
free to
second.
ask the questions. You can continue. The only clarification I was seeking was that
I will.
there is an argument.
I will.
If you have an argument, you can continue with the questioning.
Okay. I have an argument. I have a oppositional form, and I will prevent it. So I will continue with questioning you, Pogan, for the first 5 minutes. So the question is, you believe there's a couple of axioms first. You're not a doxastic voluntarist, and you believe that the mind is a product of evolution, that natural processes. That's correct?
Okay, here it is.
By the mind, you're not referring to the brain, presumably, because I already told you I'm not a mind physicalist.
Oh, no, I'm not referring.
What's that, Speed?
Okay, yeah, this is where he starts with the natural selection thing. So he couldn't get him on being a physicalist. So now he's going around and he's trying another move. But anyway, there was one other thing. Oh God, I forgot it. Damn it. Okay, left my mind. Go ahead.
Okay. Yep, that's us old guys, man. If we don't get it out of that brain pan.
Referring to mind physical, you believe that the evolution completely counts for the physical parts of mind, correct?
The physical parts? Referring to the brain. You're asking me if I think evolution accounts for the brain?
Yes, that's correct.
I think that's a reasonable thing to believe based on evidence.
Okay, so then my question is...
Here it is.
So here is where we move into my next section of the question. If you're not a doxastic voluntarist, presumably you believe that beliefs are selected for by natural selection. Would that be correct?
Okay,
I'm not clear on that.
Okay. You believe that you do not choose your own beliefs. That's what we established by you conceding that you're not a doxastic voluntarist. So then the question is to you, would that not entail, and you also accept that evolution by natural selection, obviously, would that not commit you to saying that beliefs are also a part of the natural selection?
Yeah, I'm not clear on that either.
Okay, pause. John?
Yep.
What are you?
I'm just not understanding.
Okay, so that was really stupid. I mean, okay. If you accept natural selection is why we have the brain, right? That doesn't mean that everything you believe and everything you do with that brain was selected for naturally. And that's what this whatever the hell he is saying. And it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. And I think it and so he's trying to come around and he's trying to trap Pogan, basically, into his view. But I mean, do you understand that is a ridiculous thing to say, that your beliefs were selected for by natural selection? I mean,
Yeah, I'm not following it.
How in the hell would that work? Like, I mean, if I believe that there's a squirrel in my tree that was selected for by natural selection a million years ago, somehow my genes made me believe there was a squirrel in the tree. I don't understand where the hell this guy got his education. Anyway, go on.
And real quick, let me say to chat, I'm sorry. I knew what I was doing was wrong before I did it. If I was sitting there doing what you were doing, going back and forth with them, I'd be bummed too. It's happened to me a bunch of times in other streams. Someone gets taken away that I was having a conversation with. Sorry I did it. I just can't suffer that motherfucker right now. And I'm not only keeping track of this that we're watching and commenting on, but I'm keeping track of the chat simultaneously. And I just got sick of hearing him. This shtick that he was pulling on me in the live chat is the same shit he does every day over on Speech Channel. And I just got tired of it. But my apologies to you guys. I know you were having fun with it. Sorry.
Sorry.
Entailment, I guess.
What entailment are you not understanding?
You seem to think that there's some commitment I hold to where I think beliefs are selected for. And if I recall correctly, maybe I misspoke, maybe you misheard. Both of those are possible. Yeah. I think I was just unclear in what the term you were using meant. Dog's
voluntarism is that you choose your own beliefs.
Yeah, I don't have a commitment. If that's what you're referring to, then I don't have a commitment one way or the other.
And let me ask you a question. Do you believe that evolution is responsible for selecting our beliefs?
All right.
Why would they be? Why would that be the case?
So just real quick to this, I'm not sure what it is Brain Bug is agreeing with, obviously, or Jerry Penna obviously was saying something nice about Danny. That's the most fucked up thing about this, because as a person, I like Danny too. Most of the time, he's a pretty amiable young man, but you would have to go over and watch some of the past streams on Speech Channel to understand what's going on here between me and Danny. But,
yeah, I put him in the back room yesterday, I think 25 times, because he wouldn't shut the fuck up, and he wouldn't, he wouldn't take moderation. He wouldn't listen at all. So he was just continually going, sorry. And what are we going to do with him? And I always think of Gavin when that happens. And I think, God, I don't want to be.
Well, and that's what I'm getting, from, for booting him, is that I'm looking like Gavin, which that's not a good look. So
Danny makes you a Gavin.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is too is like somebody else has pointed out over on Speech Channel. I think somebody referred to it in this chat, is that over on Speech Channel, oftentimes, he'll get called out by people for being very pejorative and condescending, and making kind of like hidden left-handed kind of insults, but then I, as I'm often want to do, go full Tourette syndrome for like 30 seconds or something, swearing and calling names, and they don't call me out for it. That is that is hypocritical. I mean, and once that was pointed out over on Speech Channel the other day, there was a couple people who was like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, we should be calling John out for this shit too. And I'm the one who did it, and I wholeheartedly agree. But go ahead.
When you went full Tourette's, I think you did it twice so far on Danny. I'm going to clip those things and turn them into a video so that when Danny starts saying sorry, I can play your Tourette segment and over. Don't you think that would be a good? Yeah, I mean, I think that would be appropriate, right?
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is too, like, as is always the case, even with people that were warrantedly hidden, that it's just a temporary thing till the end of the stream, and it'll be restored. And I will hear all about it today at 3 p.m. Eastern, I'm sure.
Yep.
I'm unsure.
So you
I don't have a position on that.
Okay, now he's gonna.
Then, okay, how do you believe the direct origin?
I don't know.
Did you see that?
Do I need to know?
Okay, so you don't have a position on whether evolution is responsible for selecting evolution.
Can you repeat that? You were hard to hear.
Okay, I apologize. Okay, good. So, yes, I hope the crowd is seeing the cowering. So we're now getting
Wait, am I?
on to question Troyer.
One minute. I'm cowering because I don't have a position.
No. Okay.
Okay, pause.
Now,
Troyer,
I hope
clear on why you think I'm cowering.
Okay, somebody needs to start moderating.
I mean, you're just
Yeah, so
Troyer,
hold on, guys. I kind of want to direct this to Sal and Destroyer if they could get involved here. I'd like for them to also
Okay, foreskin.
become involved in this conversation.
All right.
Okay, John. Did you see when he said that he didn't have a position or he was unsure about that idea that beliefs are selected for, that this guy spent a good 30 seconds fumbling, trying to figure out, okay, he's off the rails again. He's not following my script. And then he comes back with calling him a coward because that was the only place he could go. Is he had to go, Darth Dawkins on him and accuse him of something. And it's just, and I think it devolves from here and it never really goes anywhere, but you can go ahead and run to the end of that. And I think, what timestamp are we at? 33:47.
Let me see. We are at like 33:49. Yeah. Something
Yeah,
like
I think.
no, 33:47. You're right.
Oh, and I kind of want to hand it to Praise that he did try to control this guy a little bit, as a moderator.
Yeah, I noticed that.
He was being pretty fair. So we want to give Praise credit.
Yeah. So, were you saying that we should play a little more, or is this a good time to?
It'd probably be a good time. Well, yeah, let's play to the end and see what all the insults are, and then I think when they switch over, then we could quit. Yeah,
then we can pick up on it later today. All right.
Yeah.
Hang on. Before we jump into this, which I assume is evolutionary argument against naturalism, it's not that. Okay. I just wanted to make a couple of brief from about the opening statements, and which probably should have gotten to at the beginning. But one thing, Canadian, that you said was that you don't need to show that theism is more justified than its negation, or to show that it's rationally justified.
Yeah.
I take that as nonsense, right? To say that some belief is rationally justified is to say at least that there's some positive reason to think that it's true, right?
Of course.
And so,
but I'm not. But let me clarify that. There may be, for example, some others who say that there are positive reasons to hold to theism, but there are more positive reasons to hold to atheism. So I'm not going to be commenting on that. My point here is simply to present a case for theism,
which you haven't done.
Present a reasonable.
But the point is that the balance of the evidence should come out in favor of theism.
And this should be in your video. You're running away from it. Should be in your video. Okay, sorry.
I understand what I don't know why you keep doing this well placed.
Just mute him. Okay, sure.
If you're saying, or at least admitting, that the balance of total evidence might come out in favor of whatever it is, the evidence you have in favor of theism, ignoring the rest of the evidence, then you're just you're not showing that there's some justification for theism. You're cherry picking the evidence that suits your position and neglecting.
Yep. Probably a good place to stop.
This is a good place to stop.
Yep.
And
Okay,
it was just like after 36 minutes, right?
What was the timestamp? 36?
It was like 36:47 when we started playing it, so it's probably like right around maybe 37. We can start at later today. And that, and if you weren't here at the beginning, let me say it again. If you want to see the next section of this debate reviewed, which we're about a quarter of the way through now, that will happen today at 3 p.m. Eastern over on Speed's channel, Answers in Atheism. And then we will pick it up from the point we leave it off at on that channel Monday here on The Rage. And what are your final thoughts to their Speed?
Final thoughts? I don't know. I was. I just think he's a waste of time. This Catholic, Canadian Catholic, but he's interesting. Later on he comes up with some logical arguments, which are equally bad. But it was just interesting to watch him falter when he tried to bring an atheist down a path. Now, he wouldn't have any problem with me because I'd say the mind's all physical, and I believe in physicalism, and I'm also a bit of a doxastic voluntarist, that I believe that you can change your beliefs, or you can change your beliefs by choosing to believe something. I think your brain is very plastic, and so he would probably have fun with me. I don't know. That first part might confuse him, but anyway.
And so you've got mods in the chat here, don't you?
I have what? I'm not sure if I do. I'm trying to find my channel.
Yeah, I was going to say post a link to your channel on the live chat.
Oh yeah, I have a wrench. I have a wrench. So you just timed Danny out, right? You didn't boot him, right?
Well, no, I mean that's the only way you can do it. Is if you don't want to see somebody for the length of a stream, then you have to hide them on the channel. But then you can go back in and unhide them after the thing is over. I've used that tactic before with people, and much worse people than Danny. Again, let me admit it. Ray says you should have mods, admit it right up front. And as a matter of fact, if Otangelo had shown up today, there was something that I was wrong on that I had to admit, but I don't want to waste talking about it until Otangelo's either here or in Speech Channel to admit something I was wrong about and that Otangelo was right about. And if you've been around this channel for a while, you've known that when I make mistakes, I admit it. And before I even booted him, I knew it probably wasn't right, but I just fucking sick of them, I mean, and there's a lot of backstory to this that people might not be aware of. Ray just saying he just cleared all the blocked people. So
yeah,
he periodically, no matter who it is, whether it's Jill or anybody else that
Well, it's kind of part of our shtick to boot Danny and block Danny. And poke Danny, and we have this kind of ongoing thing. So I can understand why you did it. I mean, it's hard to resist.
Right, because if it had been on Speed's channel, then Speed would have simply, and if it had been a verbal thing and it had been on Speech Channel and he was being insufferable, or even if I was being insufferable, that's what Speed does. He puts you backstage, rather than try and get you to shut up. And admittedly, he's done that many more times to Danny than he has to me or other people, but that's just the nature of Dan. Like, Speed will put Danny backstage and then bring him back, and he's still talking. Like,
he's still going. Yeah, he's still
going. And sorry. I mean,
what are you gonna do with a guy like that? I mean, it would just turn into a real shit show if I didn't moderate him a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, and let me say it. I admit it. The kid's smarter than I am. There's no doubt about it. He knows way more about philosophy than I do, but he's also doesn't know everything, and he will never, ever. We've tried to show him point blank where he's wrong on something, and he has never admitted being wrong on anything. Never.
But do you have evidence for that claim, John, that he's smarter than you? I don't know.
Well, I mean.
He knows some words. I'll give the kid that. He learned some words. He went to college and he learned some words. Anyway.
Right. Well, I mean, and just to close with this, and the thing that happened here today is, with him, I talked about Pascal's wager for a few sentences, gave my thumbnail view of it, and he goes from there to saying, I don't know what Pascal's wager is. That was a complete non sequitur. That was a claim without substantiation. He'll never admit that. And I'm going to hear it later today on Speech Channel from him. So,
oh yeah, he'll be there. Hopefully,
fear not. He will get to. He's already been restored on the channel, and he will get to respond to me later today, folks. So yes, come over to Speech Channel 3:00 Eastern and watch us continue to review this debate, and also watch me, probably get my head chopped off by Danny.
Yeah, I'm gonna give Danny freer reign today. I'm going to I don't know. I'm gonna see if I can find some oxycodone or some damn thing to calm my nerves a little bit. Maybe give Danny a little more latitude to jump all over us today. I'm gonna try my best. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna keep my mouse off the remove button for at least 30 seconds. Okay. I promise.
All right, folks, thank you so much for showing up here. Again, the raging atheist is not dead, despite, the premature claims that he is. Okay. He's going to be back. He's just taking a break. I've talked to him a lot, and he's enjoying his break. He's regenerating, and he'll probably come back more ragey than ever, so thanks for showing up here. I'm going to keep the channel going as much as I can, a 3 times a week. Come on over at 3 o'clock on Answers in Atheism. And then I'm saying that the next week, Monday, we'll be going Monday again here for sure. And I'll decide next Monday what other day or days we will be back next week. Be the conversation, and we'll see you next time.